Hello, and welcome to Open House Aquatics. Today I'm inviting you into my home for an open house tour of my fish room.
So I actually purchased this home many years before I got back into fish keeping. But the great thing is, it ended up being the perfect setup for a fish room, or lounge as I like to call it. My fish lounge is in the basement of my home that had been many years ago finished into its own separate apartment. What I love about this is it's heated separately, it's cooled separately, so if I ever wanted to play around with that rather than heat the tanks, I could definitely do that. It also has good access to a fridge and a freezer for frozen foods, medications, chemicals, tons of cabinet space because we have so many fish supplies, it never ends. And it also, in its own separate kitchen, has good access to a sink for cleaning. And it also happens to be right off of my laundry room because I use my utility sink more often to hook up my Python water change system. So while I didn't buy this house for this reason, in retrospect, somebody must have knew something because it worked out really well. I spend a ton of time down here and it keeps all of the mess in one place, which my family seems to enjoy. Overall, great place to relax and enjoy fish. And this is Willow. She's really the one in charge here.
So I've done or am doing individual open house tours of each of my tanks. So this is just going to be an overview of the fish room or lounge, as I like to call it. This tank here is a 26 bow front aquarium. It was actually the first aquarium I ever purchased when I got back into the hobby as an adult. This one is a heavily planted nano tank. So it houses guppies, harlequin rasboras, there's a peacock gudgeon, female betta fish, and then there are some shrimp, both cherry shrimp and blue dream shrimp. Overall, I like this tank a lot. I like a lot of activity, a lot of color, a lot of babies. They never stop. But the thing I don't like about this one is it is taller than it is wide, plus the bow front kind of adds kind of a quirky dimension to it. So it's been kind of challenging to scape this with driftwood and different things because it's just not that deep. I'm pretty happy with it, but this one continues to be something I work on over time. Anytime I get bored, let's rescape it.
Despite their small size, this tank probably has the most activity out of all of the tanks.
This tank is actually one of my favorites. It's a 125-gallon aquarium, and it houses mostly South and Central American cichlids. In here I have some severums, some geophagus, electric blue acara, green terror, firemouth, and some roseline barbs that are still juveniles. They're still growing. They do well in here. Nobody seems to bother them. And then there is also a bristlenose pleco that does a good job with keeping up with some algae on the glass. This tank in particular is not planted because of mostly the severums who will devour plants. I tried anubias, I tried java fern, I tried some things that I saw online might work. They unfortunately did not, though I have had very good luck with pothos growing out of the top. I know some people say they eat the roots, and they definitely do chew on them, but I think the secret was that I got the severums when they were very little, and then this continued to grow. So by the time they got big enough to really do any damage, there's a big root system and just a ton of growth. I keep just bringing it around the room, and hopefully it'll go even farther. But yeah, I really like this tank. It is powered by an FX6, obviously a heater in here. I have a couple wave makers just to increase the surface tension, kind of get things moving. It's mostly driftwood, fake plants, and it has two large Fluval 2.0 lights on it. Don't really need that much power for a non-planted tank, but I just really like this tank and it's kind of the focal point of the room, so might as well. I think it looks good.
I could really watch these guys all day. There's so much personality and so many dynamics between them. And this guy, he's a stunner.
Next is my 75-gallon mixed reef aquarium. So this is my biggest of my saltwater tanks. This has a mix of, it's mostly soft corals and LPS, though there are some SPS as well. This one has been probably my most rewarding tank, though it's had a huge learning curve trying to learn all about saltwater. What I have in here in terms of fish are, I have a Midas blenny, a coral beauty, a pair of Ocellaris clownfish, a Bengay cardinal fish, a Tamini tang, and most recently I added a mandarin goby. I wanted to wait till this tank was over a year old and pretty mature just to make sure that goby did well. I haven't been able to find any captive bred,
though it has been doing pretty well with the addition of copepods. I also see it picking at frozen food, so I think it's eating that as well. We have some photo bombers here too. So beautiful.
In terms of corals, like I said, it's I do have some softies like a big zoanthid garden. I really love Euphilia, so I have some hammers, torches, frog spawn here in the front. There are also a bunch of encrusting corals, a bunch of Duncans, and some, let's see, some trumpet corals, and just a mixture. I'm just kind of testing things out, learning as I go. There's also a lot of invertebrates in here. There's snails, hermit crabs, an emerald crab, there is a pencil urchin, and there is also a sand-sifting starfish. There are a couple brittle stars, although they really only come out at night, so they're a little creepy if you ask me. In terms of equipment on this tank, it's a little bit unconventional. I'm going to do a video about how to build a budget reef tank and also just other ways you can run a reef tank that aren't a full setup with a sump. This one actually has a Cichlid Mega Filtra 650 on it. It has a protein skimmer, also Cichlid Shark, that is in the tank. I have a UV sterilizer, which is the green killing machine. And then a couple wave makers, and I light this with 3 AI blades. 2 of them are the grow blades, and 1 of them is the glow blade. It also does have an auto top-off system and a pH monitor. I like to check that pretty much daily just to make sure it's maintaining a consistent level. But yeah, this is kind of my pride and joy as of lately.
I say this in some of my other videos, but I really don't think we have enough education and knowledge on the ocean, and our planet is mostly ocean. For instance, when I got into the hobby, I didn't know that coral was really an animal with a symbiotic relationship with algae, which gives it its color. I think there's so many fascinating things we can learn from reef keeping, and that's why this is so rewarding. And it's also just so beautiful to have a slice of the ocean in your house. It's kind of wild when you think about it. It's a very unique hobby, and these are very unique exotic pets. I love it.
Next up is my 40-gallon breeder mbuna tank. And because it's relatively small for mbuna, what I've done is I've used the more peaceful varieties. So there are 5 yellow labs, 3 yellowtail ACI, and 4 cobalt blues. They all seem to get along pretty well. There's chasing, but there's really no fin nipping, no real damage. And I know you're probably thinking, why are there plants in there? There are plants in Lake Malawi. Well, because these fish are captive bred, they've never seen Africa anyway. But because, like I said, it's on the smaller side, I kind of wanted to have as much help with nitrates as possible. So I have some Anubias, some jungle val, some Java fern, and then I'm starting to grow some pothos out of the top.
Overall, I'm really happy with this tank. I used the Carib Sea African Cichlid mix for the substrate in order to help buffer the pH a little higher. I also really enjoyed creating this rockscape. I purchased the stones on Amazon, and then I used Carib Sea's Rock Lock to cement them together into a creative and unique formation. I made sure to have a lot of nooks and crannies for these fish to call their territories and to hide. For equipment in this tank, I filter it with an Oase Biomaster Thermo 350 canister filter. It's a really good filter. It has a pre-filter, which makes cleaning really easy. You don't have to break the whole thing down quite as often. I actually prefer it to the FX6, honestly. I also have a wave maker in here to increase the flow, keep things moving, and give them a little bit of a current to swim against. Helps with aggression as well. Okay, so time to get real. I want to show you the good, the bad, and the ugly of the fish room, not just some perfectly put together tanks. So for this tank, it's kind of gone through several evolutions. I originally purchased this 10-gallon tank as sort of an experiment to do a dirted tank and maybe like a Wallstead method. I really like her work, wanted to give it a try. It just did not go well for me. I think I moved things around too much. I stocked too heavily. I just didn't like it. So then I switched it out with this fluval stratum substrate, and I'm just not having good luck with this either, probably for the same reasons. So this one, in a future video, I'm gonna completely tear it down and rescape it, so that's upcoming. Currently it has 3 Pea Puffers, a school of ember tetras, and a couple of random neon tetras that weren't doing so well. They're just kind of living out the rest of their life in this tank for now. Spoiler alert, here is a substrate that I'm getting ready to use for a rescape coming soon.
This is my 15-gallon reef tank. This is actually my introduction into saltwater. So a couple years ago, I purchased the Hello Reef kit. I found it to be incredibly helpful. The videos walked you step by step through how to have a saltwater aquarium. So I really appreciated that. I think it would have been just a little harder to piece things together on YouTube. Instead, it was just one person's guidelines kind of going through step by step. It didn't get confusing. Once you master that, then you can tweak things.
What I wanted to do with this tank was to really feature anemones. Because they can move around, I didn't really want them in my mixed reef tank where they could sting or damage expensive corals. So they're kind of the focal point of this tank, though I do have some other corals in here, some soft corals, zoanthids. There are also some rock flower anemones. I just really wanted the color, but I didn't want to hurt other corals. The ones that are in here, I fragged from my main display tank. In terms of fish, there are 2 Ocellaris clownfish. They are the Miss Barb variety, and there is also a bicolor blenny. The cleanup crew includes snails, crabs, and this creepy serpent star. He's super cool though. This is an all-in-one system with 3 chambers. The first is for the removable filter sop. The middle chamber has biomedia and sponges. And then in the 3rd chamber, I have the return pump, an auto top-off sensor, and the heater. The only thing that didn't come with the Hello Reef kit is this black sand. So it originally came with white sand. It never really looked all that great since it's such a small tank. So what I did was I swapped it out with the Carib Sea Hawaiian Black, but it's called a sand, but it's so coarse that it's almost a gravel. Not a huge fan, but this tank is doing so well that I really don't want to make any changes or rock the boat here for now.
And here is my 20-gallon goldfish tank. About maybe 3 months ago, I kind of got the itch to try goldfish again. I haven't had them since I was a kid, and back in the 90s, we didn't know how to keep them, or we pretended not to know how to keep them. We didn't have YouTube. Wasn't our fault. But now we know better. So I have 2 Aranda goldfish. They're pretty small at the moment. I call them Bert and Ernie. So it is a 20-gallon. I know it should really be 20 per, maybe 30 for 2. But since they're on the smaller side, they're definitely good in here for now. I haven't had any problems with waste or nitrates. People say they're messy fish. These ones haven't been yet. Maybe they will be as they grow, and then I'll have to upgrade them to maybe a 40 breeder. There's an internal canister filter, and then I do have some plants in here. I bought some that were sort of advertised as goldfish proof, some stem plants that they just ripped all the leaves off. So those are just little sticks in there for now. But the Anubias, the Java fern, and those kind of plants did a lot better. So like I said, you're sensing a theme. I want to try to control nitrates as much as possible, except for the sub-room tank where I just literally cannot have them. So really like these guys. It's been fun. They're super personable. Though one odd thing is they pretty much always stay on this half of the tank or just this third. I've messed around with the flow on the canister. It's a little Cichlid canister filter. I have it down on the lowest setting. They don't seem to be having trouble swimming, but they still just seem to like it over here. So that's another reason why I think they're completely fine in this size tank for now. Maybe later they'll get an upgrade.
So cute. You can't eat my finger. My finger is not food. I will also be rescaping this tank in a future video. Right now I'm just kind of brainstorming some ideas. I just kind of threw some plants in here. There's an artificial rock and then some rock from Home Depot in here for now. Just kind of getting ideas. I just want to give some future projects, some content for future videos.
Okay, so this one is a 13-gallon rimless bookshelf tank. Originally, I purchased this tank to be a quarantine tank, but as you're sensing a theme here, I can't keep things empty for very long. So right now it is a grow out tank. There are about 6 dwarf rainbow fish that I got at an auction, and they're teeny tiny. They need to grow out before I can put them in any other tank and they don't become snacks. There are also a couple of long fin bristlenose plecos that are also pretty small. So not quarantine, but it is a grow out tank. I had been kind of overflow plants that I had putting them in here. So I did sort of a half scape in here. It's an artificial rock that I got with a tank a long time ago, some driftwood, some rocks. And over time I can grab from this tank if I need plants for other tanks, or maybe this will be another video and I'll rescape this intentionally, completely, because let's be real, I'm probably gonna just get a 10-gallon tank as a quarantine and then we'll start the whole process over and over again until we're out of room. So you get it, right?
And there are the dwarf rainbow fish. So small and so cute, but they're starting to get a little bit of shine to them.
Last up on the tour is a tank that's actually not downstairs in the fish room, fish lounge as I like to call it. It's actually sort of front and center in my living room. I spend a lot of time up here, so I really wanted to have some sort of focal point of fish, and I have people over, they're usually up here. So I wanted to do sort of on the larger side planted tank. This is actually the position where I had the first tank I bought, which was that 26-gallon. I actually started with glowfish. I know people have opinions on glowfish, but they did get me into the hobby, so I'm thankful for that. And that was about 3 years ago, and I still have a bunch of the glow tetras and I believe 2 of the danios. The danios didn't do quite as well as the tetras, and unfortunately I did lose a glow angelfish that I really liked. Her name was Brenda. But other fish in this tank, I have a really cool school of rummy nose tetras. I really love them.
There's a single pearl gourami as well. She's really pretty.
And then I have a school of about 8 Basmani rainbows. There's some mystery snails in here. There are a bunch of, I believe they're Julie Corridoras. Love them, love their little puppy pile. And then there's just some random fish that kind of ended up, there's a couple of mollies. There's a Bolivian ram. Tried to have a pair of those and he just kept killing his wife. So he's by himself now. That's what you get. But otherwise, it's mostly plants. So I have, all of these plants, especially this big one here, I grew from a tiny, tiny thing at Petco. A mixture of stem plants, a mixture of Anubias and some more, filter feeding plants. I haven't had as good of luck as of late with tall stem plants, and that's what this tank is missing. It's missing some background. So I just bought some and I'm hoping they'll grow with time. I'm not sure what happened because everything else was thriving. Maybe I'll use some more root tabs this time and just try to help them along. In terms of equipment on this tank, I have a Seacom Tidal 75, and that was kind of the main filtration. And then I happened to be at a Greater Pittsburgh Aquarium Society auction and won an Oase hang on the back. So I have 2 on here, which I think keeps up with the heavier bioload. The Waze has a heater built in, and then I also have a fluval heater, so there's kind of redundancy built in there too. Then, as with my other tanks, I'm trying to grow plants out of the top.
It's honestly really hard to focus on a TV show when you have this right in front of you in your living room. And when people come over, they're almost instantly drawn to this tank. I absolutely love sharing my tanks with friends, family, and now you. Thank you so much for watching Open House Aquatics. I really appreciate it. And please stay tuned for bloopers because this YouTube stuff is a lot harder than it looks. And please consider subscribing because I will be having a lot of upcoming content, including more tank tours and some rescapes, as well as some videos on equipment, building a budget reef, and more. Thanks so much.
I spend so much time up here. I think about 1.5 to 2 years ago, the Hello Reef kit. I have a baby dupe. So this one is actually a 50-gallon. Nope. This is my 15-gallon. This tank has gone through a lot of evolutions. At first, I bought this sort of that. Okay, there's Willow. Now, here's Willow. An African Cichlid. Next up is my Hello Beans. We can go over here. A sink, a fridge for frozen, a fridge. Over here, I have my 40-gallon mbuna. Then I click the button. It was incredibly cheap. It was meant to be a. Here is my 20-gallon. Yeah. A Cichlid title. I keep saying CJ. It's CK.